So in my personal opinion, most people associate travel with vacation, and vacation usually with spending tons of money. But we're here to tell you that it doesn't have to be that way. We're Chris and Grace, and we have spent the better part of our 20s traveling on and off full time. We have been living here in Central America, specifically in Guatemala, for the past year. We understand that travel definitely is a privilege, but we don't think that you have to be necessarily rich to travel well or full time. Of course, your definition of rich and ours probably is extremely different, but regardless, we think everyone should have the opportunity to travel. And today, we just want to share some of those things that we have discovered along the way that have made our adventures not only longer, but more affordable and just an overall better experience for us. Because where you travel matters, right? An itinerary for Thailand and an itinerary for Switzerland look drastically different in lifestyle and budget, right?
Exactly. We actually took a 6-month honeymoon in 2023, and we only spent like $11,000 to go on that trip. Mm-hmm. And we didn't really pinch pennies that much. We didn't really say no. I mean, we're frugal by nature. That's just who we are.
But we also were like drinking a bottle of wine a night.
Every single night, a piece on
the Camino. Yeah.
And you can watch all those videos if you guys want to. We still have that playlist.
Yeah, the Camino de Santiago. Yeah. It's a 1-month hike, roughly, depending where you start, across Spain. They call it a pilgrimage, and it's amazing. Highly recommend watching
Time of our lives.
Yeah, watch those videos if you haven't seen those. But where you travel really does matter. And on that honeymoon, we went to Tunisia. Right after the Camino, we went to Tunisia to visit your brother Sam.
Yeah, it was such an unexpected part of our trip that we didn't see coming. And maybe we're just ignorant Americans, but I never planned to ever visit Tunisia. It was never on my radar until my brother Sam was teaching English there, and he was like, "Hey, do you want to visit?" And we're like, "Sure." And we 100%. Got there, and it was the incredible beaches, wonderful food, sensational food selection,
the bazaars,
the markets, the people.
Because like she said, I never would have thought about Tunisia, and just getting off the beaten path a little bit brought so much more of a fuller, experience.
There's also so much history there. There was so much ancient ruins there that we were able to visit, and it cost us little to no money to get into these places, and it was such a fantastic time.
The Colosseum. There was I think El Hem or El Gem. Colosseum. It's like a Roman amphitheater.
And there's still concerts and stuff that they have.
Yeah, I would have never guessed going to Tunisia would just be as affordable as it was, and also as incredible as it was. And the whole thing, we didn't even have to pay for accommodation while we were there because we were house sitting with your brother. And so there are so many different options, right? And there's so many different ways to travel. Where you go matters.
Makes a huge difference.
And then we went to Central Asia after that. Yeah. Right? Flew into Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, and Uzbekistan.
That was also just a really unexpected part of our journey, a country that I had never intended on going to, but when we got there as well, totally different than Tunisia. It was cold, it was warm food, soups, jackets, sweaters, and we were drinking all the
time. We rented a car for significantly less money than I would probably pay for in the States, right? And we took a huge road trip across the country and saw the mountains and the wildlife and did a bunch of hikes.
Yeah, we got to stay in a yurt as well, which was such a cool experience.
That family feeding us homemade Kyrgyz moonshine and fried chicken.
Waking up to the cows outside of your tent just because, that's where they feed, and it's just an incredible experience, and something that I would have never found or looked for if we hadn't have just chosen something off the beaten path.
Or something we would have had to pay significantly more money for in another destination, right? Which kind of leads us to our next point, which would be how you travel matters. I would assume most Americans, when leaving the US for the first time, would probably assume that $100 would be...
Oh yeah, easy.
Borderline a good price for a hotel, if not the norm, right? But we're here to tell you it doesn't have to be.
Yeah. We have gotten some really great accommodation for very little money because we have been open to hostels. Don't dog on hostels. It's probably because they made that horror movie about them. Everybody's afraid of them.
They get a bad rap.
I've actually never seen that movie.
Neither have I. Probably shouldn't watch it.
You should not watch that.
Don't watch the hostel movie.
It's not true. No, we've found some really wonderful accommodation in hostels, and you can get private rooms in hostels that rival good hotels.
100%.
If not do better. because most of these hostels are going to include like better common areas. You sometimes can get like free breakfast or like open kitchen use so you can cook your own meals.
Right.
You know, like there are so many more perks to hostels, including meeting all those people. So hostels are really great because like you can meet so many new people who are also traveling full-time or trying to travel full-time or on an extended trip, and they're gonna give you so much information and you're gonna be able to experience things. And if you don't have a travel partner,
boom,
odds are you're in a friend group.
Yeah, I mean, my bucket list has grown exponentially since traveling in hostels. And I would say I actually learned about the Camino de Santiago from someone that I was working with at a hostel in Bosnia. And so, which was really cool. I mean, I've learned so much about the world.
But it also opens your eyes to destinations that you would have never thought of, you know? So like, if you're wanting to stick to the first point, which is where you go matters, like people in the travel community are going to give you like insights on places that they've been that you've never thought of.
And that you're going to be able to travel longer there, right? Or at least have the inside scoop.
Exactly.
So.
We've stayed in hostels all over the world and we've enjoyed a lot of our stays, and it's made most of our experiences better.
Except for that one time we got dropped off in, I think, Almaty, Kazakhstan, like 3.5 miles away from the hostel.
Yeah, but it was fine. We saved money on transportation, so...
Didn't have to call an Uber.
Yeah, go math.
Well, we chose not to call an Uber.
We watched. It was good for us.
Saving money on transportation, right? Kind of leads us into the next point, which is we try to break down our budget into 3 different categories, right? You have accommodation, transportation, and then food / everything else, right? And so when you can eliminate one of those 3 categories, it makes a huge difference on how long your trip can be or how you can travel full time, right?
Exactly.
And so depending what your savings looks like and da-da-da-da-da.
For instance, you could just post up somewhere in a really walkable city, you know, like somewhere like here, San Pedro is a really beautiful place that you can come and you can go to Spanish school for like 2-3 months and you can eliminate transportation because if you stay here for a longer amount of time, you can walk everywhere you need to go.
Right.
And so you don't have to worry about how you're gonna get there or Ubers in the city or wherever you are because everything you need is walking distance.
So that means more money in your wallet to either fund your trip longer or maybe spend that money in the local economies, right? In the communities and be able to go out and eat or do something like a Spanish school or fun activities, right? Because you eliminated one category from your budget. And so that's something we've tried to do over the course of our travels is finding different ways to eliminate like one or multiple categories. And one of our favorite resources we like to use when we travel is Workaway. And I found out about Workaway over 8 years ago at this point when I took my first backpacking trip. I had just finished college, just graduated, and I wanted to take my first trip abroad. And so I booked like a group trip and it was like $3,000 or something like that to go to Ireland, Scotland, and England without food. And so that was like, I was like, wow. For 2 weeks, $3,000. And so then I found out about Workaway and I was like, wow, okay. I grew up on a farm and I found someone who was in Ireland on a horse farm that needed help. And I was like, okay.
Now I can go to Ireland.
Now I can go to Ireland. And so I ended up realizing that I could do that in other countries and travel and save that money. And so instead of spending $3,000 on 2 weeks, I could spend $3,000 on 3 months, 4 months, maybe longer, depending on what you you spend your money on, right? Some Workaways I've spent 0 money for an entire month, if not longer, and some I still partied and drank a lot. So
naughty. Workaway is just such a great resource because you can have any skill set and probably find a Workaway.
Right.
If you're a hard worker, you can find a Workaway because some people are just looking for you to do maintenance on their garden and some people want you to like just paint a mural on their house.
Those are both skilled.
Yeah, so exactly. But like I'm saying whatever
house
skill,
sit, pet sit.
Yeah, whatever skill you have can be applicable to Workaway. There is a Workaway for everybody. And you can travel to amazing destinations all over the world and not spend anything on sometimes food and accommodation.
If you're willing to get your hands dirty.
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't even have to do that.
Yeah.
I just walked a dog on the island of Cyprus for a month and drank wine with the owner every single day and took naps by the Mediterranean.
It was so hard. What a hard life.
I know, and that's what you can do. And so you can really budget a long-term travel, with doing a volunteer exchange program like this. Another one that we haven't used yet, but we've heard a lot of good things for is trusted house sitters.
We really want to try that in the future, so we definitely want to give that a go. But we have some friends who do trusted house sitters, and they can stay gone for pretty much as long as they want. If you don't know what trusted house sitters is, you can pretty much go watch someone's house while they're on vacation. Dog sit, cat sit, house sit,
right,
and get to stay there for however long they're gone and get to be in any part of the world. It's incredible. We're really excited to try it, hopefully sometime.
So, and you would get that accommodation for free, obviously. So if you have to pay for accommodation, there's other things like Hostel World or Booking.com that we use a lot because that saves us a ton of money because of like different perks and levels and benefits. There's so many different apps that we would recommend Googling, recommend researching what apps do I need for the country that I'm wanting to travel to for a while, because if you use the local resources that they have there, it probably will save you money instead of, the generic like Expedia. Or not name drop, I don't know what I'm
Kayak. I'm just
Yeah, instead of using a general, maybe something from the US, a third party maybe.
And sometimes you can get better deals on stuff by just getting it in country. So
100%.
Some of these resources are not applicable totally, but we do use Skyscanner and stuff for flights because we found that that's just an easier way for us to find cheap flights competitively, especially if you keep an eye on it for cancellations, because sometimes you can get crazy deals on flights if you're flexible on your dates and you're willing to go whenever.
But talk about what you just said. I think that's a great point, is in country, as far as transportation ticket from here to Antigua, what we would pay going and walking in person and paying rather than online is huge.
Significantly cheaper.
So if you're traveling to a country, definitely do your price matching because that we can save significantly more money by not doing things online here.
And booking things through your hotel or hostel, wherever you choose to stay. Most of the time, they're gonna hook you up, and they're gonna know a guy, and they're gonna get you where you need to go.
Because every time you save money, you can travel longer or spend it somewhere else for the better.
Yeah, it's actually affected us mentally at this point. We can't
How
spend money.
can we spend money better to help better the lives of more people?
Exactly.
So
that's ultimately the goal, and that kind of leads us to where we are now, which is traveling full time, hopefully for the rest of our lives. We would love to do this forever, but YouTube is a huge part of that journey for us. This is how we make money now. We are desperately trying to pay our bills regularly, and YouTube is helping us do that, and we're so grateful that we've been able to take YouTube as an opportunity, as an income to travel.
Right. Because this is not a video to explain how to get a remote job, right? Because for so long of my life, I have saved up money, worked in the States, quit my job, traveled for 3, 6, 9, 12 plus months, and then come back and do it again. And not necessarily that's full time. I would say traveling nonstop for a year would be considered,
definitely,
full-time travel, a gap year. And that, this is how to do it effectively and not run out of money by week 3.
Exactly.
Right? So,
and these are just some of the tips and tricks that we've learned along the way, doing it for a few years now, you a lot longer than me, but these are just things that hopefully we can share with you to make your journey easier so you can be a little bit more prepared if you are trying to transition into traveling full time.
Because so many people ask us, how do you travel full time? And I don't have a remote job, but I want to travel. I didn't have a remote job for the last 7 years of my life, and while I haven't traveled completely full time, in that amount of time I have,
I'd say the majority.
The majority. And if that's something you're interested in, you're not limited by not having a full-time job while doing it. So
if I can advocate for travel again, you will meet a lot more people in the lifestyle that you desire to do when you're doing the lifestyle. So I would just encourage you to get out there and travel and try it. Get plugged into the community of backpackers and traveling full time, and it will be amazing what the world opens up to you.
100%. So thank you so much for watching. Please let us know in the comments if you enjoyed this, if you have further questions about our lifestyle and traveling and living abroad. We would love to answer them. And
quickly, thank you to all of our Patreon members who allow us to do that now.
Sure.
We're so grateful that you are a part of our journey. Thank you so much. We'll leave our Patreon in the description as well. But other than that,
thank you so much for watching.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
See ya. We'll see you in the next one. That's what I was trying to say.
See you in the next one. You are the most handsome boy in the whole wide world.
You are so handsome.
Are you stupid? Oh, don't fall. sleep in.